Alright, hello there. Sorry, I was getting into that drum solo of Metallica. This is Trevor from DFS Cobra Cobra DFS and Video Gaming Channel. And I'm just gonna let you in today on my picks. And it's gonna be for the 7-game turbo slate tonight that begins in about 2.5 hours. And also, like I said, it's going to be some of my favorite picks and the picks that I think that will serve you the best tonight. And for starters, we're playing on DraftKings, so we have to pick our two pitchers for tonight. So I'm going to go with what I think is a very reasonably priced option tonight, and that's David Price. And as you can see, he's had some really solid, solid games. His last game he pitched 25.4 fantasy points. So that's a very solid and respectable score. And he does have strikeout potential. He is facing the Detroit Tigers lineup. They have a lot of players that are not that good that are currently in their lineup. They're okay as far as power, but it's not something that really concerns me or gets me scared. So we're going to roll with David Price as our SP1. And then a pitcher that I really like as an SP2 tonight, I'm going to go with Dylan Bundy versus the Toronto Blue Jays. And here again, he didn't have a good game last game. He only pitched 4 innings, but I do think that he'll go lower owned, because you see he had a little regression these past 2 games. But then the game before that, the next time out pitching, he had a 24.9, 15.3. So, and then he goes back with a 29 on the 11th of June. So he has had some solid production, and then a monstrous 46.4 against the White Sox. So that shows you the explosion and the breakout potential is there. So I think he is a sneakily low good option tonight, and going this route on your pitchers and not spending a crazy amount still gives you a lot of room for your upcoming hitters. All right, so moving on to catcher. One of the most expensive matchups on the board is JT Realmuto versus the Tampa Bay Rays, and I really like this position for him, and he may go pretty high owned, but I'm okay with paying his price because, as you see here lately, he's been solid. He always has a home run potential. He's batting a solid .310 with 45 RBIs and 12 home runs, which is an excellent number for a catcher. So that's perfect. And then, also, of course, you see our average here is about $4,114 per player. So that still gives us a solid number to move forward with some hitting options. I'm not as much liking first base tonight. I think it's a little bit weak, to be honest. But I do like Matt Adams in the 6th hole for Washington versus Atlanta tonight. I think he has a really good run scoring potential. He's had a solid amount of RBIs with a monstrous OPS this year of 927%, and he is now homered in consecutive games. So that's another thing that you always want, is looking for the homer potential, and also the possibility of multiple homers. So there again, that's excellent. And also now we move to second base. We're still averaging about $4,100 per player. And also, I haven't forgot, we will go over the implied run totals here in just a minute. All right, so another one I really like tonight is Starling Castro of the Miami. I've hit a blank of the Miami Marlins. My bad. All right, and he's been solid. He's very serviceable for his price. He's at 3,900. He usually goes pretty low owned, and I think he's a solid play tonight at second base. At third base, I really like Maikel Franco versus Clayton Richard tonight of the San Diego Padres. I'm not scared of him. And there again, I think Maikel Franco usually always goes pretty low owned. And in your tournaments, no matter what size of a tournament they are, that's what you want to look for is your ownership, because that's what's going to distinguish you from 2,000 other players in the field. All right, so moving on, we have moved up to about $4,200 per player, and now we have our shortstop, and I'm gonna pay up here just because Jose Peraza has really been doing solid for Atlanta at the top of the order, and the part I like about him and what makes him so versatile is he doesn't have to hit a home run, but yet he can still produce home run numbers. In his past game, he went 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. So that was a solid day. And he's been entering the first half of the year on a tear. He's 11 of 15. So that's what you want in a tournament player. You want consistency. You want somebody that's not going to give you a goose egg, because nobody wants that. 0 points is useless. All right, now moving on to the outfield, and this is where we're going to have some decisions to make, because your outfield is really loaded as far as your hitters and the power hitters and the people that also give you the ability to steal some bases for you and things of that sort. And I'm going to also go with, for my first outfielder, I see he's back in the lineup. I always like Giannis Cespedes. He's always solid. He always gives you the potential for multiple home runs. And in his last game, he was awesome. He had 17 fantasy points. His home run production has been a little bit lower than normal this year, but that's okay. I think that's going to rebound. So he's been on the DL for 10 days, and I think he will go lower owned because of people scared of him coming off an injury. And he'll probably be in the DH spot. So I like his potential here. So I think he'll be another good low-owned player. All right, so we have about $4,200 left on our last two outfield positions. And what I'm going to go with here is I'm going to do something that I call a contrarian maneuver. And that is that I'm going to go with Nick Castellanos against David Price, which is also my pitcher. And what this allows me to do is it further distinguishes my lineups from other players that I'll be going against. He has been in a little bit of slump lately, but I think he'll break out. So I'm not very concerned about that at all. So now I have $3,800 left for my last position. And I'm going to go with, let's see, I'm going to go with Adam Duvall of the Cincinnati Reds. Again, like I had stated earlier, you usually get a lot of low ownership with the Reds, and they have improved as of late, and they're really starting to get, their hitting going, and it just gives you a lot of opportunities for a sneaky play that's going to be, I expect to be very low owned. And let's run over real quick. Let's go over our implied totals. I don't put a lot of stock into this, but I do look at it somewhat, just because to get an idea of where the rest of the field's going to go. So I use this metric as a way to go by. You have the New York Mets at the Yankees, and the over-under on that for most of the experts is going to be 9 runs. And also you have Atlanta versus Washington, and the over-under on that is 8 runs. That's the same for San Diego Padres versus the Phillies. You have an 8 runs pretty much across the board. And also we have anywhere from 8.5 to 9 runs with the Baltimore and Toronto game. And I know what some of you may be saying. Well, you picked David Bundy, or Dylan Bundy, excuse me. And so that's going to make you risky. Well, yes, he's a risky pitcher, but I'm okay with that because I think he will rebound. Toronto's hitters don't really scare me. They don't have near as much power as they used to when Josh Donaldson was regularly in that lineup. So that really hurts their run scoring potential without him being his regular spot in the lineup. And then you also have the Boston Red Sox versus the Detroit Tigers. And your run total on this is anywhere from 8.5 to 9. Going down to one of my favorite teams, the Pittsburgh Pirates versus the Cincinnati Reds. You mostly have a total of 9 runs. And then also, surprisingly, we have an across the board 7.5 runs for the Miami versus Tampa Bay Rays game. I do consider this a trap. I do think that both of those pitchers are not near as good as what the run totals expect. And both teams do have some pretty strong power and run scoring potential. So I do think this is a trap. So be careful if you decide to go this route that you don't fall into this trap. And that's just pretty much all the games that are left on the slate that we had discussed. And I appreciate you stopping by, and I hope you will, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Cobra DFS and Video Gaming Channel. And this is Trevor signing off. And also, before I forget, you can also find me on Twitter at DFSCobras1. So if you have any questions or want some insights as to why I went the direction I did, I would be glad to talk about it with you. But good luck out there to everybody, and I hope you cash in all of your contests. And until next time, thanks.